but like, what vacation? Do you have one coming up?
No, I just did one.
Oh, well, duh. I guess we both did.
We did. We will talk about that. Hello and welcome to the Average Bros Gym podcast, where your average hosts with eerily similar names, Croy and Kory, sit you down and talk about life advice with no polarizing black and white takes, simply good conversation. And I almost had the entire thing.
You did. You
I
did.
almost had it.
We should honestly just be keeping like a scoreboard at this point. It'd be kind of interesting. Like, how many times does Croy nail it? Like within just a word or two.
A couple words.
Like you hit the main points.
Yeah.
Where do you think your shooting percentage would be at?
Like we're gonna
shooting percentage.
Probably 63%.
Okay,
yeah,
that's solid.
So here's the deal.
If you're in the NBA.
If the NBA.
Yeah, field goal percentage.
I'm hitting the main.
Dominating.
I'm hitting the main post. I'm hitting the Kory and Croy, the oddly similar names. Meeting you where you're at.
Yup.
Just genuine advice and good conversation. I'm hitting.
I feel like that one you always
points.
nail. Yeah.
That one's a good sign off. Kory and I are here, so we are back, ready to rock and roll. Thank you all for your patience, and it is currently game one of the
nice take.
Of the whatchamacallit, Western Conference playoffs, game one, round one of our Minnesota Timberwolves facing off against the just absolutely malcontent, murderous, horrific Phoenix Suns. I think they're all terrible human beings and people, and we should root against them. They all
Wait, what happened to that polarizing black or white take?
No, the Phoenix Suns all are adulterers. No, I don't know. I can't say that, but I do want the Wolves to win. Cat just made a nice bucket. That was pretty clutch there, Cat.
It's funny you say that, because when I think of fan allegiances and how just savage and vicious fans can be, like, you have no animosity necessarily towards that person in any way. They could be someone you have no idea, you've never met them before in your life except at that game, and then your teams are going back and forth, and it can turn that temperature in the room. Or
not a good advertisement for sports fandom.
Oh, but it gets heated, and that's kind of the fun part about it. Like, I remember growing up all the time playing on especially travel basketball teams, and hearing the opposing parents like really get into it. I mean, and then you just escalate that on into a national and worldwide level, and yeah, you can get those allegiances, just the ride or die fans out there, and there's always a lot. And it's kind of fun to just see those interactions, how the temperature in the room changes. Come
on, Ant, drill that shot.
Oh,
he's off tonight, man, or today. He's not quite, hasn't done much. I'm not gonna lie.
He's out there. He's doing his thing.
The fact that he hasn't done much, and we're up by 5 right now, and it's almost halftime. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because Durant's been kind of. Oh, was that a foul?
I don't
know.
I don't even know what is a foul in NBA anymore. I don't even know. That could be your pinky touching their fucking hip, and that's a foul.
Nas Reed is limping. That's not good.
Especially, come on, it's also playoff basketball, so I'm not a big fan of like
they've been letting them play a little bit.
They have.
Yeah,
I'm not talking shit about all NBA reffing crews, but
yeah,
what a weird little world that is. If you were like on the, betting side of being a ref, calling games.
It's like there's that meme that talks about how like we shouldn't bet on games, but then it's like, the NBA brought to you by BetMGM, brought to you by DraftKings, brought to you by and they have like the money lines when they're looking at the game, stuff like that too. So it's like, it is obviously like refs should not bet on games, and that is like really, really damaging to the sport.
There was just wasn't there an NBA player that just got banned for something?
Forget his name.
No idea.
He played for the Toronto Raptors. He was betting against his own team, and he was doing some really like interesting things. He was like trying to also like kind of set up his friends, there are these money lines that would get slammed for like no reason, and it was very suspicious. And he got busted for it, and he's banned now from the league.
Dang.
Yeah, I forget his name, but it
came down hard on that shit.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the Pete Rose thing in baseball? He being caught betting.
He was betting. He wasn't betting against his team.
No, it wasn't betting against, but still betting. Either way, just like
his own games.
Or if you're a player, you're just not wanting to get caught up in that in that world. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, the idea of being able to either influence those games just due to your play or whatever else you can do. It's like, that ain't cool. You got to respect the game. Mm.
Shut up, D Book. Are you fucking begging for a foul? I'll beat his ass right now. Sorry. This is why. See, this is why.
Wait, dude, didn't we just say that? Wait, hold on. 5'7", and like, how tall do you think D Book is? You think you got a shot?
Like 6'4",
You think you got a
6'5".
shot? He probably outweighs us.
Nah,
Outweighs us both by a good 30 pounds. These
No.
human beings are massive.
This is me. This is me when I'm watching games. I hate when people beg for calls.
Oh yeah.
Goodness
Yep.
gracious.
The little whiny baby face, like, come on, man.
I'm not
Come
gonna.
on,
I'm not
man.
gonna lie though. D-Book is kind of putting the cuffs on Ant right now.
Yeah.
So,
Well, let's see. his
team,
stat
if you
line.
don't like basketball or sports in general, I apologize for our commentary. But yes, we're watching the game. We had to turn it on. It's the 2:30 game, and on Saturday, so we had to kind of turn it on, watch it here. So we're going to be doing most of this episode while also commenting on the game, right? So we're going to kind of go back and forth. If you like our commentary, great. If not, I don't know why you're listening to us at that point. I'm not. I mean, we have some good things here, but yeah. So I'm back from vacation. I was in Charlotte with Meg. We were doing fun stuff. We did a little workout. We moved our bodies a little bit. We ate some food. We chilled at a park. We did a ghost tour. All the fun things that we enjoy doing. So it was a good time, man.
All those go vacation things.
Yeah, you know, and it brought up an interesting concept, and it's something that Corey and I are going to talk about a little bit today, was just like that desire or that idea that we like quote unquote like need to work on vacation. You know, like you might be someone listening to this who you're like, hey, I'm going on vacation. I'm going to the beach. I'm gonna chill and hang out and do nothing. Or like, hey, I'm not. I'm taking the time off to work out. I'm gonna let my body rest, whatever that is. And you might be someone who listens to this. Oh my god.
Oh, that would have been epic. We okay. If you're not watching the Wolves game at right around the 4:23 mark in the second quarter, Anthony Edwards almost had an iconic playoff dunk, and he knows it too. Oh, that was close to being epic. Just put the fucking spin cycle on Kevin Durant, gets all the way to the cup, and just comes up a little short. Oh, that was close. Hey, that still riled up the crowd, though. I like that.
Yeah, wow,
I like
that
that.
was
That was a
amazing.
high effort play.
That was high effort. Holy shit.
You know, it's funny that you say with
talk for
the
a second.
vacation side of things, because like I know when I go on vacation, one of the very first things that I want to do is actually get to the gym, and for me, it allows me to kind of reset my day, you know, because travel just always throws a big curveball, or at least it does for me. I don't regularly travel, but when I do, I just always in my regular routine get my workout into the morning. So right after a day of travel, I just want to hit the gym. It's
The gym.
Yep, the gym.
Hit the gym.
Hit the gym. I was thinking the rim and the dunk and the gym. So it all just kind of morphed itself into one big thing. Y'all know what happens. You get that from time to time. But yeah, I just like going to the gym right away. It resets my mind. It resets my body, my emotions. I feel like I can just, okay, cool. I got some restless energy out because you've just generally been sitting for a while. Like when I went to Arizona, you got the car ride to the airport at a time when you typically don't wake up, at least when our flight was. Then you have to sit at the airport, then you got to sit on the plane, then you got to sit again and it's just like, all right, I need to move. And I know if I was flying in at 11:30 at night or something, then maybe not. Yeah, I probably
You get to the hotel, you fall asleep, then you wake up the next morning.
Yeah, you know. So a lot of that is context depending. Yeah, what time you flying and all that kind of shit. But yeah.
Well, I like that perspective because like it's easy for me to hear you say something like that and be like, what the like you're going to work out right away, like even though I work on vacation.
Yeah.
But when you say it like that, where it's like, yes, I'm getting there to like kind of reset and like stabilize like my thoughts, because like when I get there, I'm all kind of like you said, all to sorts. It's not your normal routine. You're not staying in the same place. You're taking an Uber or you're driving a rental car or whatever. Like you're not really sure everything is. Like it helps to orient you in a space that you know, which is fitness, right? That makes a lot of sense. I know that when we were, when we went to Charlotte, we're in the airport for a while, and then you take the flight. The flight was only like 2.5 hours. It's pretty quick, like 2-ish hours, maybe not even 2.5. But then you get off the plane, like you just kind of feel like, I know Meg and I kind of feel just like, not like gross, but you like, kind of like want to, get new clothes on. You want to freshen up a little bit, shower, whatever that is.
Well, it's not like you're also going to the airport like dressed in your Sunday best either. Like you want to wear like just some comfy shit, probably the stuff you already had on the night before. To be honest, you're just like, oh yeah, that's already out. Cool, I'll toss it on. I don't give a shit, as long as it's comfy. Cool.
Absolutely. No, it's cool. We actually saw so we sat across the aisle from two members at Orange Theory
Oh,
on the
really?
plane. Yeah, they were going to
Nice.
I think a friend's place, not in Charlotte, but it was kind of like outside of Charlotte.
Mm.
But they were literally in the same trip as us on the same plane across the aisle. We're like,
Oh.
oh, hello, how's it going? And then we saw another couple in the airport that were going to New York, but also from Orange Theory.
Mm.
So we saw two people,
Oh.
two groups of people.
It's a big world and a small world all at the same
Yeah,
time, isn't
it
it?
was fun. But yeah, so I mean, like, so we did. We worked out like a little bit because Megan is also training for a half marathon.
Nice.
So we did a little bit of a workout on Friday morning. But we did, and then we did an Orange Theory workout, an Orange Theory class on Saturday morning at the local Orange Theory there in Charlotte where we were. And yeah, I think it helps me a little bit because I also know, and I don't like, this is me, this is just my thing. I know that I'm also gonna be eating out a lot more
Hmm.
on vacation for the most part. So
That's fair.
like,
As most people I
yeah,
imagine would,
and
you know.
it's not like I understand, like I don't really track when I'm on vacation, but I just know in general I'm gonna probably be eating more. My calories per count's gonna be a little bit higher. And so I don't track or anything like that, and I'm not gonna stress about it, but I do like to move and kind of just work out, so I feel a bit better about those things. And I know that like have moved my body and I've had like, put in some fitness, I tend to also just like I tend to digest things better as well. So I'll digest food better. I'll just kind of like feel better in general.
Mm-hmm.
So I like doing that. It also, again, like you said, it kind of helps me ground myself in like routine. And it's kind of nice, waking up a little bit earlier, getting a sweat on. Like you go back to the hotel, whatever, shower, whatever, and like get the rest of the day. We did, and I didn't realize this until like my knees hurt when I came back. And that's how you know I'm in my 30s. We walked between Friday and Saturday. We walked 25 miles, a little over
Nice.
25 miles,
Nice.
um, which is a fucking lot, man. Like we didn't even plan on that. Like we were gonna we did some walks that were about like an hour long or so, like to a certain area. There's a
Mm-hmm.
place called Freedom Park in Charlotte, which is really really pretty. But that walk was gorgeous.
Mm.
We walked to a place called South End, which is like a really up like hip, kind of like lively area with a lot of like apartments and shops and restaurants. That was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
We just did a lot of walking, and then part of that is because like we both are are able bodied. We're both
Yep.
active. We both like to move. We also don't like Ubers that much. So like you never know what you're gonna get with a cab. So it was kind of like we were just like, okay, well let's walk around, and a lot of the things we wanted to see were in the same area, so it wasn't too bad. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so that was a nice thing. But then I came back and my knees were hurting, and she's like, well, you have had knee surgery before. I thought,
Mm.
oh, I guess you're right.
Well, it's just like
I
that
forget that shit.
that natural process of aging too, where I just was having this conversation with a member the other day where I was complaining about a little kind of tennis elbow thing I got going on here, and then it's just that one injury or one or two that kind of just dings around in your body. It's like, oh, there's now it's my knee. And it's like, oh, now it's my shoulder. And I mean, you're gonna get that regardless of whether or not you train. Just because again, you're gonna be human and you're gonna get hurt. But I would always much rather do it like building a robust body and having something that can be nice and durable,
Yeah,
for the long run.
it's a trade off,
Oh
obviously.
yeah.
Like with that, like when you're exercising and you're moving routinely, you're going to have injuries too, but you're
Mm-hmm.
also going to have health conditions if you don't do those things.
Yep.
So it's like, well, also Ant has now 3 fouls and he might be injured. I don't know if you saw him just like walking off like that.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Mm-hmm. I think it was just due to the 3 fouls, and he probably already knew from the coach's standpoint, like, yeah, you're going to be done now because it's a playoff game. You're up right now by what do we got here? Good thing you missed it. So up by 8. It's like, yeah, you're not going to want to run the risk of getting your primetime player
He shouldn't
injured.
be on. He shouldn't even be on Durant. Oh no, like keep him on book.
Yeah, that's tough.
He's got to play hard. It's the playoffs. You have to fucking play. But I don't know why he's on Durant. Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, a little bit of an aggressive foul there.
Flagrant.
But yeah,
Towns also sells the shit of calls.
he does. I
But
love
whatever. If it works, it works.
I know when it comes to vacation, one thing I really look forward to when it comes from the exercise, health, and fitness standpoint is like you get to explore, or I should say, you have the opportunity to explore a lot of different gyms. If you have a membership like a lifetime Orange Theory, one of those that has multiple locations in around the national area, it's like it's such a great convenience. But even if you don't have that and you're just working out at, I don't know, some local gym nearby that
Yeah.
doesn't have an expansive nationwide network, you can still go to a variety of different spots just for like little drop-ins. You always have that option for you. Otherwise, simply just get out. You're already going to be moving more, walking more
Yeah.
as it is. Go hiking. Just find some, like what's that one thing that you like to do and just stick with it.
Well, we took like when we were walking to Freedom Park, we kind of took this like trail that was runs along the Sugar Creek in Charlotte, and
Mm,
it's kind of right in downtown. But it was really pretty. Yeah, I mean it's like a restoration project. Like
mm-hmm.
it used to be all covered in concrete,
Yep.
and like they ripped it off. They restored it, put in these boulevards or whatever. And it was a really cool trail, and it was really cool. It's nice to have that green space in the city. Like that is one
Mm-hmm.
thing I'll say about it. It had to have a good amount of green space within the city.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, man, there was one thing though that I've been telling everybody that was I was just it was whack. Like I liked it except for one thing. This is why I won't stay downtown again.
Mm.
Every single night there's like street races outside.
Really?
Yeah,
What are
like
you saying?
so.
Like some Fast and Furious
Yeah,
shit?
some Fast and Furious, Vin Diesel, Dominic Toretto. I live my life a quarter mile at a time. Shit.
Nice.
Yeah, like we were R.I.P. Paul Walker. So we were staying downtown in this area of Uptown Charlotte. That's what it's called, Uptown. And we're on the 10th floor of this hotel. And Meg sleeps sounder than I do, and she falls asleep way easier than I do. So like I take a little bit to fall asleep, and I am a light sleeper.
Mm.
But I was waking up at like midnight, 12:30, 1 a.m. to like the engine just loudly revving outside, just so loud.
Mm-hmm.
I was so confused. Like the first night was Thursday. I was like, what the fuck are we doing Thursday night? And so eventually, like it happened Friday and Saturday, and eventually I looked it up, and it's been a thing for like 2 3 years. Like I was finding news articles about it
Mm.
from like 2022 of like Charlotte street racing.
No.
Seriously, and like
Interesting.
but it's just crazy, and like apparently they can kind of like block off these side roads, and
Mm.
like I don't know, the police probably can only do so much about it.
Well, it's funny because my brother and my dad, they love watching those type of shows like Street Outlaws where, and again, it's a fucking TV production.
Yeah,
So they're acting like they're running on some roads like, oh man, the cops could show up at any time. It's like, all right, to be honest, they probably just have the whole fucking thing reserved just for, again, this specific
yeah.
drag racing moment going down on some backstretch of road that isn't typically utilized anyway. They're just paying the county and it's like, hey, we got a TV show. You want to get on this? Cool. Just go park up the way. Like,
Yeah, yeah. This is like the when you Google Maps or when you Apple Maps it, it's like the fourth option for you, and that's the
yeah.
road they're on. Yeah.
I mean, but either way, that shit is insane too. I'm like, I went to a drag race once with my family back when we were probably like,
And this is a car drag race, not the RuPaul's Drag Race.
yeah, no, oh yeah, no, completely different game.
Yeah, not the cool drag race. The
Uh,
lame, loud, smells like gasoline. I'm trying to
oh,
sleep
I
drag
love it,
race.
love it. Douse me in that as a cologne.
Trying to fucking sleep, man. Fuck that shit.
But
I
these
was
were like,
pissed.
these were like the big funny car, like drag racing. John Force, I think was his name, and then there was a Kenny Bernstein, which were like some pretty iconic drag racing names at the time. My family, at least my uh brother and my dad, were pretty into motocross, NASCAR. Always love that. They still love to tinker around with like trucks, toys, dirt bikes. Could be ATVs, all this stuff. If it's got an engine big enough to do something fast and stupid in, like, we're kind of down for it.
Yeah.
And so we went to this drag race just on a whim. My parents thought it would be pretty cool, and as a kid, it was like those engines when you're walking around. And again, I'm elementary, like early middle school at the time, and you see these cars and you hear the engine rev up, and you
Yeah.
can feel it like reverberating like in your chest. It feels like you're
Mhm.
like, holy shit! And then you see that thing just go right down the track at 300 plus miles an hour. Can you imagine being strapped into that shit?
Well, if you're going to watch this
Ooh.
race like at an actual place, that sounds dope.
Yeah, that's
I just
that's
don't
what it
wanna
was.
hear it when I'm trying to go to bed in the middle
Yeah,
of downtown.
ideally not, especially when you're on vacation and you got to get up and work out the next morning. You're like, yo, keep it down.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a bummer. So that was my one knock against it. There was that. Downtown
Mm.
was very busy, and it was, but it was very active and things like that too. But
Mhm.
nah, man, I'll go to a drag race with you. The thing that like we'll go to both drag races. We'll see which one we like
Oh
better.
boy.
The one thing that I guess I don't really call them drag races. I call them drag shows. I don't know.
yeah,
Anyways,
yeah.
but
Drag.
the one thing that I remember. So this is a story of your birthday
Oh.
when we did our go karting.
Oh yeah.
And so that is how I associate you. When I think about you and cars, um, I associate that whatchamacallit, go-karting, and I
Yeah,
associate getting my ass kicked by your mom
dude,
and the rest of your family.
like a sleeper.
And I remember you
My
like
mom.
your brother like just really cat. That was a fucking dumb pass, and you got away with it, and you're lucky that happened. But I
And
don't
what?
like it. Um,
Yeah, dude, my mom,
yeah,
she's oddly, not even, I shouldn't say oddly, she is very competitive. She acts very like playful, almost like a
yeah.
cat playing with the ball, like, oh, super innocent, but like meanwhile on the inside she's a fucking assassin.
She's like dissecting how she's gonna destroy you.
Yeah,
Yep.
uh-huh. And she is very athletic, used to be a swimmer back in high school, set some of the records at the school as well, but I wouldn't call her necessarily the most coordinated, like hand-eye coordination. You know, when it comes, she's fairly good at like ping pong, you know, some like darts, but always is able to like keep up and stuff. And she always will impress you with everything that she plays. Even though she understates herself, she sells herself short a lot. Like, oh, she says I'm not gonna be good at this. I'm not nearly as good as you guys. And she said that all the way going up when I told her that we were gonna go karting for my birthday and then
Yeah.
who was all gonna be coming. She's like, no, do you even want me to come? I'm not even that, I'm not even gonna be that good anyway. You guys are gonna just beat me. And then race day shows up and she fucking whips.
She won one of those heats, didn't she?
She was great. Like it was literally, I think my family was just 1 through 4.
Yeah.
I think they were 1 through 4. And then it was like everybody else. And yeah, my mom's a little badass. I definitely get that little like, and my dad is as well, that competitiveness. Yeah, that sure rings true.
No, your brother. I remember him passing the older. Well, you're a younger brother, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're younger. I remember him always passing me on the left and just like passing on the inside, and just being like very like smooth about everything. Like it was just like nothing for him. And I was like, how the fuck do you?
Yeah,
do
right. Like how they see a line, you
Yeah.
know, or you get into like F1 racing, or you can get, I mean, any type of racing
I
is
think
just
it's like the confidence to take that too. 'Cause,
that
like I was
too.
always like, I'm not gonna fit, or like I'm not gonna make that move, or like I'm not gonna be able to get through there.
And like knowing the speed in which that you need to enter and exit, and then yeah, just like the fucking like just guts it takes to really send it into like a corner, like seeing the not IndyCar, but seeing the, what is it, like Grand Prix, like crotch rocket racing,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of stuff, where they are down and a knee and a shoulder is just grazing across the asphalt that they're running on. And it's like, oh, that is insane. Like you're literally parallel to the fucking asphalt right now. Oh, that is gnarly. Let alone going into
That's
something like an
it's like third or
S16 or
fourth
some
mile.
shit. That'd be even cooler.
Yeah, just been having the confidence and the idea and like the ability to like know what you're doing with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Well, just to like even the physicality, like within those sports,
Oh
like
yeah.
how hard that is on your body to be able to brace for those forces that are going against it is insane.
You're talking about like the motorcycle thing, right?
Well, yeah, the motorcycle thing, or even like what they have to do on like IndyCar and NASCAR when you get that force going against your body within the machine that you're in as well. Like fighter pilots and stuff, they have to do that thing called like hooking, where they'll basically just take those like big short breaths and like, and they'll pump blood like into their brain just to keep them fucking conscious. Otherwise, they can black out at any point in time. You know, if you saw the new Maverick movie or if you saw the old Top Gun one, I mean, I think they reference it a couple times in those where the pilot can just go out cold and you're applying that amount of force. Like you got to be fit
Maverick.
as fuck.
I've heard really good things about Maverick.
Oh, you never saw that?
No, I haven't seen Maverick, but I've heard really good things about it.
Well, that'll just be yet another movie option that'll be thrown your way that somebody tells you like, oh, you haven't seen that? You gotta watch it.
You gotta watch.
Here we go down to the final 10 seconds, second quarter. Wolves Suns, Anthony Edwards. No, just kidding. Mike Conley at the top of the key, drives it in and gets his shit swatted out of the park. Oh, nope. Karl Anthony Towns almost with the putback.
That late?
So close. Nah, I think late. Either way, saw a little start. Durant's going off. Anthony Edwards not playing too bad. 10, 4 for 8 from the field.
Well,
not bad.
Ant's got 3 fouls. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
So
But either way, the rest of the team's playing solid right now, so you'll take that.
The time.
I could care less if Anthony Edwards is playing just meh if our team's still up by whatever it is right now. I think it's
They're
like
up.
61,
I've
47.
been saying like if we can hold the Suns to under 100 points, we're gonna win. Like I don't think that we're gonna score less than that with their D. But obviously, it's the playoffs, man. You never really know what can happen. So
I saw this video the other day that it was going with the current NBA like all-star of their team, and then within the same video they kind of just brought in like an iconic superstar that used to play on the same exact franchise. So it was like Kevin Durant doing a pace, like a step back, and then passes it off to Charles Barkley, like another iconic son. It was just a cool video, like that one with Anthony Edwards with Kevin Garnett in it. It was like, oh yeah, we're just kind of slowly getting to another. We're in a completely different era of basketball. It's really cool to see.
Oh yeah, even the Currys and the Bronze are getting up there.
It's about done. Golden State got bounced in the first, or no, they not even first round. They didn't even make it. Yeah, they lost in the play-in.
Yeah.
You know, and it's now is it like end of an era. You know, which is kind of crazy to say. Like we're starting to get to that point within, I mean, all sports where it's like, oh yeah, that era of football or basketball is kind of over with and done. Those kids or the athletes that you grew up watching, like we're starting to say those things now. You know.
Well, Kory, what would you say to if someone was going on vacation, right? And they kind of like felt like, oh man, like I'm gonna if I don't work on vacation, like have this panic of like I'm going to lose my fitness, or say they're gone for like a week somewhere, I'm gonna lose my fitness, I'm gonna lose this or that. Like, oh, like what would you say to that?
It depends on what they're where they're at and what stage they're in. Like if it's a person that's just coming in and oh well, here we'll go with the easy one. If you're already regularly working out and you're worried about losing your gains or losing your fitness in the matter of a couple days span, you can calm down. You're fine. All right. If you were regularly exercising like 3 to 5 days a week, moderate to intense physical activity, you're getting your steps in, you're doing all the things more or less, right? You limit your alcohol intake. You don't do a lot of added sugars and all the things.
Let's not go so far as limiting alcohol intake. Yeah, hold on. Let's talk about,
I'm just saying in general, you know, if you're doing a lot of the things right and you keep a consistent workout routine, if you go on vacation and you don't want to do shit and you just want to sit on the beach and sit back on some margaritas and all that stuff, go for it. Then once you get back, get right back onto your routine. You're golden. If you're somebody who's like, okay, I really want to start, but I have this trip coming up like next week, and then you're going to push that off as to your start date again, and you keep having these occurrence of something that gets in the way, well then fuck that. Yeah, okay, if you committed to doing 3 times a week, sure, then you can also like stick on vacation. I think it's so case by case dependent. Like prove to yourself that you can keep a consistent routine. That's just as important as somebody saying like, yeah, take some time off. That's really important. For me, I want to keep my routine because I just don't want to ever let it slip. And it helps me reset my mind, reset my body while I'm there at that location. So I think it really, really depends on, again, that person and what's the intent of the vacation too. Like,
well, it's about moderation. Like I had a member one time get very worried because they were going to be gone for I think several, or like they were going to be gone for a full week, you know, and they were like, well, I don't know, like I don't want to come back and it's gonna be harder. Like, you know, ultimately cardiovascularly, it's gonna be harder when you come back because it's just like, but you're gonna get it back.
Do anything.
But you're gonna get it back in two extra like 2 workouts. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because like your cardiovascular fitness, you will lose faster than your strength gains or muscle gains at the same time. You're also going to get it back a lot quicker too, especially if you've already established a certain level of fitness. You're going to get that level of fitness back and, very, very quickly.
Yeah.
So, I told her when she was leaving, okay, well, can you work out 2 times? Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do that. Like, yeah, cool. Awesome. Dope. Like you're fine. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think there's that level of fear sometimes, but and I think a lot of it stems from this idea where people are so proud of where they've come and they're so proud of how far they've come. And they get kind of fearful. Oh, if I stop working out, even for a week, I'm going to go back to who I was before. And I think that, we can talk about the fact that, well, you're always changing. So even if you, let's say you couldn't work out for 2 weeks, you know what I mean? You're still like, let's say like, okay, this person has, been working out really consistently for 2 years and they've, done X, Y, Z and they've achieved this level of fitness and they're super proud, but they're like paranoid of like going or like scared of going back to who they were before they started. Well, even if you miss 2 weeks, you've also still developed a mentality for the last 2 years of exercise routine. Like the mere fact that like you're worried about that is proof that you've grown mentally.
Yeah, 100%. I'll agree with that.
Like if you're someone who is running into this situation, like y'all are still good. You know what I mean? Because you're not the same person you were before you started exercise routine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're going to get back into it, but it does take action, right? I think we also tend to sometimes happens that I've noticed in my career, people will be gone for a week or two, and then that fear of that first workout being really tough. It almost prevents them from coming back in again.
Hmm.
you know.
When you bring that up, I have multiple thoughts as it pertains to, okay, should I work out on vacation? What's going to happen if and when I choose not to? Again, if you are someone that works out regularly, you are one of those individuals that taking the rest day is kind of the challenging thing to do. You're gonna maintain your fitness. There's nothing that is going to be crazy detrimental to you or your ability to regain it. It's the same idea as how long did it take you to get to where you are within your health and fitness? It's going to take some time to like slowly. You're not going to turn into a pile of pudding the very next morning. You're not going to turn into again that pile of pudding in your idea of a week down the line. You're going to be fucking fine.
Snack pack.
But
Oh yeah.
at the same time, if you're an individual that you've developed that level of discipline and consistency and just willpower to continue to maintain your fitness regimen, and that's also what makes you feel good, and you want to just keep that blade razor sharp every day, or I'm going to do movement. I'm going to do whatever that looks like. If you're also one of those people, I'm not knocking you. Yeah, hell yeah, dude, go for that. Because I probably align more to that side of things. When I go on vacation, I'm always wanting to do something physical. I want to use my body in some way. That could be going to the CrossFit gym. It could be when I was in Sedona, didn't work out for 2 days, didn't go to a gym at all, but I did a bunch of hiking, just walked around and maintained some activity throughout the day. That's going to be, again, just also as important as somebody that needs to take a rest day. They go hand in hand, just like where are you at in that space and what's going to make your body feel good.
And like I think to your point, like if it's a weekend day or if it's like a long weekend, like 3 days or
Yeah.
like for work or something like that, like don't stress about that. Like do what you can. Like if you want to get something in, like the hotel gym or move your body because it feels good, go for it. But
Mm-hmm.
like it shouldn't be like, oh, I'm gonna be gone for 3 days out of my routine. Let me completely,
Yeah.
let me blow this up in my head of like, oh man, this is, yeah, I know.
If you're at that point and giving, if you were to take 1, 2, 3 days off where you didn't just actually go to a physical gym location, if that gives you just like some severe anxiety that you won't be able to quote unquote get your workout in, that would be something. I'm not a health professional, like mental health professional. I mean, I don't know, to a degree, that is an aspect
But
of our job,
behavior change,
behavior
yeah.
change. But, at that point, it shouldn't be that detrimental to your mental health if taking a day or two, or God forbid, 3 days off in a row from going into a gym, that to me is a little bit of a red flag of
Yeah.
something like, okay, we gotta pick that apart here a little bit. Like there's something deeper going on there, because again, if you were in a healthy space with your fitness routine, that shouldn't be the case. Everyone should be able to take some time off. Again, the greatest players in the sports that we love and watch, and the greatest athletes that you admire and respect, and the bodybuilders and the you know icons that you see on Instagram, they all take rest days as well, just as much and probably maybe even more than what you do. The people that are like, yeah, I work out 7 days a week. I'm like, why the fuck are you working out 7 days a
Yeah.
week? Take a day off,
Yeah.
Lord.
And if you're doing like, let's say you were doing like, 3, 4 days of a certain weight training, and then you had like yoga, and that was like your day of whatever that was. Like, I think that makes more sense, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're doing the same routine or similar weightlifting like every single day or similar this or that, like that is a good way to break that body down. I mean,
Yeah.
even if you look at like, if you look at developing athletes, youth and teenage athletes, and like that, like
Mm.
you want to be multi-sport because then you're not using the same muscles. Like if we're training
Hmm.
in one sport all year round, I mean that increases risk of injury, increases
Overuse
risk of
injury.
burnout, all those things. And so, and I think it works the same way here. It's like, and that's why coming in and being able to do different things on different days is always lovely.
Hmm.
And so, like I think too, like let's say you're on vacation or let's say you're on a work trip or whatever, and you don't have access to a gym. You're, let's say you're in office meetings all day, and you have like a little bit of walking, but then you're mostly like eating out. You're with your office crew who maybe they don't have like the exact health, you know, consciousness that you do, as far as like they're gonna eat something maybe a little bit less healthy for them. They're gonna be doing excessive drinking, whatever that is. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? That shit happens, right?
Hmm.
The idea is that there's always a balance. So like you can adjust some of those things. Maybe you have maybe one drink, but you have water with it. You just don't drink, but yeah, you have a little more food. Maybe you have a little less, like a little bit like of a more healthier meal, but you have like a drink or two.
Yep.
And then also, you know what? I always tell people, I'm like, worst thing you do is get in the hotel and before you go to bed, or like, at some point you're busting out some squats, some lunges, some push-ups, like throw on the TV, throw on. So Megan and I have taken 2 vacations together. At some point, I'm going to be watching diners, drive-ins, and dives on the TV. Just happens both times. I feel like it's going to continue to happen where I'm just going to be watching Guy Fieri, right? Worst comes to worst, let's say there's diners, drive-ins, and dive episodes on Food Network, right? So usually they have 3 different locales. They're taking commercials in between those 3. Hit up a set of squats, push-ups, lunges, sit-ups, whatever during those commercial breaks. You're watching a game, on TV, they've got commercial breaks. There's a commercial break right now because it's halftime. Or if you're watching like a football game, every time your team scores a touchdown, or like I do 7 squats for 7 points, whatever that is, I think there's a lot of ways that you can do it without a gym, without the ability to go outside and do hikes or whatever. Like there's ways to bring fitness in here. Or is that going to improve, like if you're a athlete that is trying to qualify for like the CrossFit Games? I mean, you probably have a whole nother routine. So actually, let's just nix that point. Never mind. I was about to say, like if you're doing that, you're going somewhere and you have a gym hookup right away. But let's say you're an athlete that just you want to keep a certain level of fitness, right? Maybe you're training for something outside of here. Hey, you know what? Is doing hotel squats going to like get you to that level of fitness that you're wanting to? Like maybe not, but at the same time, it's like better than fucking doing nothing.
I think when it comes down to it on travel, let's say I just earlier this morning I was at a coffee with some gym members from the place that I had worked at previously. I hadn't met up with them since my departure, and it was great. We got together for a little trail run, stopped at a Caribou Coffee, and just caught up, shot the shit, and hadn't seen this crew in a while. And this guy, Jake, if you're listening, travels an absurd amount.
Always traveling, this man. So
always traveling. Like his
crazy.
I don't know. I could be misquoting him here. But I'm pretty sure that when he travels like on a year, he tracked it down in terms of the overall like flight time that he did throughout a calendar year. It was like over a month of just like sitting on a plane. That might have also included the drive time too, and from the airport. But I've always admired this man's consistency and dedication to making health conscious decisions even while traveling, because this guy will have days where you're traveling all day, like it is just a taxi or an Uber or a flight, and that is it. And then it's like you get to your hotel, you gotta sleep because then you gotta be up the next day or whatever, and you're working while you're there. And so let's say he can't get to a gym, then making a different health conscious decision. Okay, so you're sitting at the airport. I know I'm not going to move my body today. I'm going to be traveling all day. That means my overall caloric burn is going to be less than what I would regularly do on a typical day if I get to go to the gym or I walk my dog on a regular basis. Cool. Now I'm going to be sitting all day. My metabolic rate is going to be a little bit lower. Okay, so do I want to sit there and eat the, Big Mac with the quarter pounder extra fries and the, Diet Coke off to the side? Do I want that? Or could I make a slightly health conscious decision? Cool, I could get this out. It's a little bit less calorically dense. It's going to feel a little bit lighter in my stomach. Okay, you do that. Maybe have a glass of water over X, Y, or Z. There's always a decision that you can make by the end of the day. Maybe extend your fast. It's one of my favorite ways to do it. When I traveled to Arizona, I woke up, knew I wasn't going to be as active that day. So I just sipped on water. I just had coffee in the morning. That felt fine. Finding, okay, I'll just snack on a little bit of protein, some beef jerky or something like that. Have an apple, something with fiber that will make you, again, feel a little bit fuller. You can have water. That'll take up some volume in your stomach. If you want to, you could do some, squats and lunges, some stretches at the airport. Be that person. I was, just limbering up and just moving again. So there's always a decision that you can make. You can't use the excuse like, I'm on vacation, or, I'm traveling. So yeah, that means I have to get the fast food thing. I like, you have a decision. You always have a decision at the end of the day. Your body will be fine. You could go all day if you wanted to. Your body's going to survive. You don't have to go and consume that thing.
Wouldn't be nice, but you know.
So that comes down to, like, again, what are the behaviors that you're engaging in? There goes the water bottle. But yeah, like what are the behaviors that you're engaging in? The habitual behaviors that you oftentimes find to do. Look for areas to like, yeah, knock out a fun little set of air squats if you want. Otherwise, get up and pace, do something. But you always have a decision at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, and ultimately, like like you said, make adjustments. Like if you do have, calorie goals or like nutrition goals, whatever,
Yeah.
like you can also adjust because you're right. Like if you are not moving as much that day, you can adjust your calorie intake to match that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It might be more vegetables, it might be more protein, but you can do those things.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I typically find that if I'm not moving as much, I'm just not as hungry either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we when we got there, it was like, it was an early flight to Charlotte, so we didn't work out in the morning. Got there and we walked around a little bit, but for the most part, we're traveling all day. You know what I mean? Then we got to get to the hotel, we got to get checked in, everything like that. We're moving around a little bit, but ultimately, you got to do what's going to feel best for you there. So,
well, yeah, and again, when it comes to that, your decision you are going to be able to make between the fast food, between the couple eggs or something like that you can get at the gas station. Just going without. I think
gas station
people,
eggs.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think people. I mean, like even when it just like comes to hunger or like food, let's just talk about that one. Like you can go a while without food. Like, are you really hungry? Or is this just a typical time that you always eat because it's right around 10 o'clock, and you always eat at 10 and it's just like habitually what you do. Oh, I always eat breakfast in the morning. It's like, okay, just like sit with yourself for a second. Let 2 minutes fucking pass. Focus on your breath. Grab a sip of water. Maybe salt some stuff. Like there's little tips and tricks and things that you can do just like that. Chew on a thing of gum. Have some caffeine. It suppresses your hunger a little bit. Coffee. Just those little areas just that you can switch your behavior. If you, again, for instance, you always have sweet cravings at night, the moment you finish up dinner, pop a thing of gum in your mouth or go brush your teeth. I want to keep my mouth clean. I don't want to then go have something really sweet. Ugh. No. That's just me.
We got the game back, third quarter. Yeah, so like I think in general, if you are, if you're someone who wants a vacation where you are, you know, maybe it's like, hey, man, I work out this many times. I want to just relax and chill. Hey, do your thing. I think a lot of people,
100%.
like the vacations where they're just on the beach or they're hanging out and they're just moving throughout the day. But people go on vacation for different things. So people really do enjoy like seeking new restaurants, seeking new this or that. I'm definitely like a natural beauty and like movement and food person on vacation. I noticed that in Charlotte because like while I did really enjoy it, and obviously I love spending time with Meg, and I know she listens, so hey babe. Uh, and obviously I love all those things. Like I've realized that I think on vacation I tend to like kind of those natural wonders more. You know what I mean? Like I think when we were in Door County, it was very cold. It was like cold and windy, but it's beautiful being in those parks and being able to see the water and things like that. And I like that kind of stuff on vacation. I also like looking at like new food places on vacation. I like going to like local areas and seeing what they have there, like local coffee shops, things like that. So that's kind of what I gravitate towards. And some people don't like doing that. Some people, and I'll still do a beach vacation, but some people like to just kind of chill and hang out and go to a resort, whatever.
Yep.
Every way is great. You can still hit your fitness like routine. You can mitigate it a little bit. You're saying, hey, let me work out twice. Let me work out 2 times, whatever, 3 times, whatever that is. And let me do one or two things. And I think both those approaches or any of those approaches are completely fair.
When I think that's especially important to recognize when you're traveling with, let's say, a significant other, is like be respectful of each of your needs. Obviously, when it comes to just like the relationship overall, but like when it comes to like, hey, when I travel, I want to get to the gym. I want to move my body. I respect your decision if you don't want to, but I then hope that you reciprocate that in that, okay, I'm going to go to the gym then. I need to do this for my mental health because if I don't, I'm going to lose my shit. I need to be
hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully that is not all it takes.
No, not again all it takes. Again, reference back to like my previous point, but again, it's a thing that is, again, it's truly a therapy. Again, in the best of ways, like, oh, you get to tell me that I get to go down to the gym for a good 60 to 90 minutes, like hit some weights or go for a run or go for a hike, like by the person that I enjoy the most, which is again, myself, like loving yourself and spending time with yourself. Like I need that just as much as everybody does, and being respectful of that. Like that's a therapy for me to be able to get on in, move my body, do the things that I enjoy doing. And then I can come back and we can go do whatever that we want to in terms of activities, or we can just chill, sit, hang out, enjoy wherever it is that you're at. Michaela and I, she very much aligns with that same type of idea in terms of getting active. And working out together. So we very much are supportive with one another in that effort. But again, if you have a partner that doesn't want to do that and they just want to, I just want to relax, babe. It's been a long day of travel and I just want to, hang on out for a bit, just kind of decompress. It's like, yeah, cool. You do that. I'm going to go for a run.
Yeah.
Bam, done. Cool. You need some time. I need some time. Let's just check back in 30 minutes because that's all, all it takes. Give, 15 minutes, get out for a walk, soak up some sun. Probably going to be doing great.
So we're going to get back to your point. I flipped off the TV because Grayson Allen is being examined for potential flagrant. He raised his elbow up to Conley's jaw when he was driving. Grayson Allen is a notorious piece of shit. If you have been watching basketball, ever since his days at Duke, he would trip people. He would do really
that's right. That
terrible,
was this guy.
Schoolyard things. Trip people, punch people in the balls, all this shit. Fuck Grayson Allen. And so I'm hoping they call it flagrant. I mean, it didn't really look that bad, but we'll see if they call it.
I just call that good, tough play.
What I think to your fuck Grayson Allen. Anyways,
no blood, no foul. No blood, no foul.
Kyrie Irving, to be honest. So I mean, to your point, I think fair. You can attack things from different ways as well. Like if you're traveling with a partner or a group of people, and fitness is on the front of your mind, you can have that conversation prior to traveling too. Like, hey, this is kind of what I want to do. Don't get to a place and then be like, oh, well, I'm going to go to the gym. And then they're like, well, I thought we were going to do this time together.
Yeah.
So have that conversation beforehand so that they know, if especially if they don't have that same goal as you, that hey, my priority on Saturday or Friday or whatever day it is, my priority is this. And I'm going to go in the morning and you can stay here or you can come with me, whatever. Or if they want to do something to have that conversation beforehand.
Yeah.
Rather than, springing that on them. I think that helps a lot, that communication.
1000%.
And then also having that idea of hey, you know what, it's okay that, if you're that person that goes on vacation with a partner or with a friend and they want to do those things and you don't, be okay with not wanting to do that thing and know that there's nothing against you and that they're going to be, they can come back and you also can do whatever it is. And maybe you find something that you want to do in that time frame. I remember I would get up early when I was in Amsterdam. I was with some friends. This was back in 2015. I would get up early and go for a walk and everybody else was chilling, sleeping in, you know what I mean? Well, but having that ability and having that idea of just having that communication and going back and forth, that's totally fine.
When even a further point to the communication aspect of things, again, if you're somebody that is wanting to get in the habit of continuing your exercise and health and fitness routine, that is a great way once you are traveling, do a little bit of work on the front end, before you go and be like, oh yeah, okay, so we're staying in this location. What are some gyms nearby? Do you want to go to that one? When we went to, again, Arizona, that was one of the first things that we did. Oh yeah, hey, on that morning, we want to work out. Okay, where are we going to work out? Oh, this spot, it's pretty close by. It looks fun. Looked up reviews and then just made it a plan within the day. So then we both had, already had that expectation as to what we were going to do, set ourselves up for success that way. I think of a quote my grandpa used to say was, prior planning prevents piss poor performance. If you have a goal that you want to maintain your exercise regimen, you're like, nope, I committed to Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. I said I wasn't going to miss one this year or this quarter or this month or this week. Then fucking stick to it, even on vacation. Then honor your commitment. Don't just use that as an excuse to kind of slough it off a little bit, and then just do some work on the front end. It's fun. You get to meet a new community. You get to see how big the health and fitness community is as well, how welcoming they are. It's one of the best ways, I think, to kind of just reorient yourself, especially when on vacation, and just can, again, set you up for success of just those habitual behaviors of, I want to prioritize movement and I want to prioritize what feels good for my body. Doing that on the front end is going to just save you, again, potentially another month of you being like, I didn't start, no, didn't do it again.
Wow, fuck. Durant's on fire right now.
He is.
Yeah, no, I like checking out other studios. I like checking out other locations. I mean, it was fun to go drop in at Orange Theory. Meg is a member and I'm obviously a coach, and it was fun to drop into that location and just talk to them a little bit more and just kind of see the community there. And it was very similar demographics, I would say, to our studio, around the same median age, things like that too. So it's very cool to see how they do things. It was nice, and I love just going to see new gyms. And no, that wasn't a foul. That was a foul on Gobert. Okay, yeah. So that's I like that. You know what I mean? And having that, like you said, that thought process planned ahead of time, right? Planning ahead of time, making sure that you're looking in the area. And that okay, well, if you're going on vacation with someone who doesn't want to do those things, you're like, okay, cool. This is like a 5 minute walk. Like this is like I know that I'm gonna plan this trip. I'm gonna be back at this time. That way, it's just a little bit nicer for everybody. But yeah, man. Oh, well, the Wolves are doing okay now. Although there's a foul on Beal here. Not liking this, but it's all right. Kory, any last thoughts on just like vacation exercise and just in general, kind of what's going on? I don't know. Any last thoughts on the Wolves or the NBA that we're watching here either too?
When it comes to the travel aspect of things, again, if you have set some goals for yourself and wanting to prioritize health and fitness, and that again could look like the example of I'm going to work out every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or do my 10,000 steps, again, honor your commitments. If it's something where your behaviors are causing you like anxiety and severe like mental and emotional stress, if you can't get your workout in, that's probably not okay either. Again, you need to there's a balance when it comes to that. If you're an athlete that always gets to the gym and you're worried about losing your gains, it ain't gonna happen. Again, you can prioritize a couple good rest days. To be honest, your body probably would be overjoyed to have a little bit of more chill, relaxing days. When you maybe overconsume on some foods, that could be great too. All right, it's a recovery day. I want to prioritize like getting some good hearty meals in. Enjoy it. It's a part of the vacation as it is anyway. Going out to eat, it's fun. Checking out new
restaurants.
It's awesome. Yeah, I love feeling all fat and happy after I'm done on a vacation. When I came back from Sedona, did I put on a couple pounds? Hell yeah. Was it worth it? Absolutely. And then being able to just get right back in my routine. For the individual that wants to prioritize movement, find areas of opportunity to do that throughout your week. Set yourself up for success by looking at what gyms might be in the area, what activities that you can do that are going to be up and around on your feet. Oftentimes when we travel, go check out the city, go check out the nature. There's so many ways in which that you can choose a healthy option if you're traveling on the day and you always consume just like some fast food or some like calorically dense food. You could look to extend your fast. You could have some water. There's always areas to make a choice and make a decision that's going to align with your health and fitness goals, right? So I would say that would be the kind of wrap up when it comes to the vacation side of things. In terms of the Wolves, I hope this is fucking Anthony Edwards coming out party. Right now, KD's looking dominant, but we got a good squad, and I'm really hoping for like a solid rest of the game. Obviously with the T-Pups taking the W.
Yeah, and I think in general, as far as like, going back to the fitness and vacation piece, like obviously again, like, a week is not going to kill your progress. So like if you have a certain goal, like, especially if your goal is more like process based and it's like, hey, this is what I want to do weekly. It's like you can take that week off as long as you get back into it again. If you just have that plan and you say that, hey, I have the power to make the action and to make that change when I come back, totally fine. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If you want to get in one workout while you're gone, two or whatever, even if it's not the same workout at all that you typically do. I mean, you know what? There are worse things in the world than busting out some push-ups, some squats, whatever, and just in the hotel room. Seriously, I mean, and if that makes you feel better and also like it's again more movement than you would be doing normally, let's go for it. So,
and I would say also don't be ashamed if that is something that you prioritize to the degree of being that person, i.e. me in the airport where I'm already wearing some comfy clothes and I'm like, I'm sitting all day, my knees, my back, my hips, I can feel that shit when you're all day sitting. My joints are achy and they need to be moved. And so one of my commitments for this year was each and every day I'm going to move my body and those joints through their full range of motion, and perfect opportunity is to be able to do that when you're waiting for your fucking plane. And so yeah, I'll be that guy kind of tucked away over in the corner, like, is he doing fucking lunges? Is he just holding an air squat right now? Is he like really stretching? I'm like, yeah, because I want to, and it makes my body feel good. If you want to prioritize your health and fitness even while on vacation, I tip my cap to you. That's awesome. If you want to do that and again just move your body around a little bit, it's gonna feel great. It's gonna feel great.
And I'll be the guy napping next to you while you're doing that.
That too, so. And that's cool too. It's fucking vacation. Do what you want.
That'll be napping.
Do what you want.
Well, friends, thank you for joining us on this episode of the Average Bros Gym podcast. Appreciate y'all again continued listening. We're getting the Patreon up, y'all. It should be a link to it pretty dang soon, maybe next week or the week kind of after that. We're going to have, so goal for the Patreon is to provide like a $5 per month, like subscription for a little bit extra, basically any extra kind of like blogging that Kory and I want to do as far as any ideas we've got that we want to write down, vlogging style videos as well. I'd love to see Kory do his meal prep because I don't meal prep, so it'll be fun. And then just like training videos, things like that too. And I've got some good ideas we want to post as well. And then some bonus episodes too, some things that we just talk about behind the scenes. We just did one just now actually. before we started recording this episode that we're going to have up on there as well. So it's completely optional again, but definitely does help us out. So if you want to just support, that link is going to be up there pretty soon. Otherwise, you can feel free to please email us, averagebrosgympodcast@gmail.com. Any questions, answers, any comments, whatever, we'd love to hear them. Otherwise, comment on the YouTube, comment on the Spotify, Apple Podcast, whatever it is. Let us know kind of your thoughts on episodes and just what you want to hear more about. Otherwise, team, you can find us on Instagram, Average Bros Gym Podcast, as well as Facebook and YouTube's. And what else am I missing? Am I missing anything else?
I think you nailed it.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, have a great rest of your day. Go Timberwolves, and we'll see y'all next week. Thanks, friends. Adios. Au revoir. Sayonara. That was 3 languages. Tschüss. That's 4. Okay, we'll see you guys later.